Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unposted podcast. Today we have such a special guest. I want to introduce you to Estefani Mendez. And guys, if you don't know her, if you haven't seen the show, right, Love Undercover. She is, our reality TV show star coming to talk about her experience behind the scenes of the show. And yeah, make sure to follow her because your account is growing. It's nice. She's got a lot of fans from the show. So if you guys haven't followed her, what's your Instagram? Just so we can start it off.
Yes.
Make sure we get the followers.
Yes. It's steph.p.mendez.
Steph.p.mendez. I'll have it linked below in the description. But thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited. I'm like, it's so funny. I have a couple fun facts. So First, Estefani is from George's hometown. If you don't know George is my boyfriend, but you're from George's hometown.
Yeah, Exeter, Pennsylvania.
Which is such a small world. You guys, I don't think you realize Exeter's small.
Teeny tiny.
Teeny tiny. My town is small, so I know what it's like to not have like anybody out here. So to be from the same town as George is just crazy. It's
what
just
are the
a small
odds?
world. It's a really small world.
I know.
How often do you go back?
I don't go back often anymore because my family ended up moving to Indiana.
Oh, okay. So right next to Illinois.
So now we're like sisters.
Right,
cousins.
exactly. We're like right across the border.
I know. So now I don't go back to Pennsylvania anymore. Now it's to Indiana.
Nice.
But I do miss the Pennsylvania weather.
Oh.
I miss the changing of the seasons. Okay.
Right. Me too. I like changing of the seasons because of fashion.
Exactly.
I love fall fashion
yes.
and like winter fashion, and I feel like we're gypped of that in LA a little bit.
Yes.
I like feel weird
because you have to wear less in LA because it gets a lot hotter.
Right.
Where in Pennsylvania you can add layers in the winter and
add a
lot
layering.
more accessories.
Right.
And it's just you don't do that here.
Yeah, you just wear tank tops, and even though the weather sucked.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, it sucks for here right now. Yeah.
It's nice today for the first time, but it's like almost July, and it's felt like I don't even know, like winter here for the past several months. It's been rainy and gross. But anyway, random weather talk, small talk. George was getting set up today, and he was like, "What color should I do?" And I was like, "Definitely pink or purple." I have a feeling she's gonna show up in pink. Literally walks in with pink sweatpants. I'm like, this is perfect. And we are both matcha drinkers. You wanted the what? Lavender?
The lavender matcha.
I love it. Tastes like
purple.
I think the lavender. So I got the lavender chai one time, and I swear it tastes like Fruity Pebbles.
Yes,
right?
That's what everyone says about the matcha lavender. It tastes like the milk after you've just eaten like Fruity Pebbles.
Cereal. Yes. Exactly. So it's so good. I'm so sad they were out of the lavender, so I was like, well, we're just gonna have to do matcha. But we have our matching drinks. We have our pink, and you have your matching nails.
Literally,
such a girly girl. I love it.
We both have hearts.
We both have hearts, so basically we're twins.
Duh.
Same hometown,
Hermanas.
basically. Yeah. But what I want to get into, so do you go by Stef?
Stef, yeah.
Okay, so I can call you Stef?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
But so this whole social media blowing up online is new to you.
Extremely.
Right. So I guess give me a little bit of your background and how you got to LA. Like, why did you move to LA? Did you have any like dreams and aspirations of like being a reality TV show star? Like, was that in the cards for you? Like growing up, were you like, I want to do this when I'm older?
Honestly, like I've always wanted to do it. Growing up, we've watched like The Bachelor.
Right, yes.
We've watched Jersey Shore, but I was mostly fascinated with The Bachelor.
Yeah, me too.
And I was in a sorority, and we would always have awards, and one of the awards was most likely to be the next Bachelorette, and I always won it every single year. And I knew that after I graduated, I wanted to come back to California because I was born here, but then moved to Pennsylvania.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So I was born in Ventura, California. And then when I was like 12 or 13, I moved to Pennsylvania.
Gotcha.
And then completely finished high school, university, all that shindig. And then came here. And when I came here, I got literally reached out by someone from The Bachelor. Like, I didn't even do anything.
You're like, what is happening?
I was like,
Someone
what
just
the
scouted
heck?
you.
Someone just scouted me.
You know, it's crazy how people can find you online, because similar things have happened to me where I was asked to be on like Make a Deal, which is like a reality like game show.
Yes.
Like so many game shows, and they'll find my Instagram. I'm like, how? I guess, I don't know if it's like you tag a location or I don't know how these people like find.
Honestly, I think they just deep dive.
They
click from one person, see their followers, click from one person to another, to another, to another. It's
really just like, obviously, like, you look the part, you are the part.
Yeah.
But the other half of it is almost like luck, because you weren't submitting for it, right?
No, I wasn't submitting for it. It was strictly luck. And I was even surprised because, like, I won't lie, I didn't have like the prettiest photos online.
Shut up.
Like, at least back then, like, they were a little like oversaturated. Oh,
gotcha.
And,
like not the edited models that we see on Instagram these days that are like perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, and I was like, I wasn't really the best, but you know, whatever. So they contacted me and I went through the Bachelor auditions 3 times.
Wow.
3 times.
So did you have to send like an application and everything?
So then after they reach you out, they make you fill out the application and then you go through all like the Zoom calls.
Oh my gosh.
And each time I just didn't get it. And again, I did it 3 times and then I got reached out to by a different casting producer for the show that I'm on now, which was insane. Because again, it was just through Instagram.
Right.
Through Instagram.
And I'm sure part of you is like, you know, like, is this legit?
Yes.
You know, because you know The Bachelor.
Yes.
And I know there's like thousands and thousands of applicants. It's literally like a job, honestly.
That one's hard.
Yeah,
that one's hard to get on, I won't lie, because you got to imagine like the women you're competing against, like all over the US. Like,
oh my gosh. Like I feel like, not me, but like I know like every friend I've had almost has been like, oh, I could see myself on The Bachelor.
Exactly.
You know, so I'm sure it's a competitive market space.
Yes. But it's competitive.
So somebody reached out to you.
Yes. Somebody reached out to me through Instagram, and this account had like 400 followers.
Oh my gosh. So you're like, who is this?
I was like, what? I was this close to not answering. I'm like, really? I'm done with this BS. Because I was so frustrated because of the whole Bachelor situation.
You're like, why am I auditioning and why am I being reached out to 3 times?
Three times.
See, that's what's annoying. I've also been like, you know, pitched for gigs and they're like, we love you.
Yes.
You would be great for the show. And then you go through the whole process and then end up not getting selected. But 3 times.
3 times. And it's heartbreaking. And it's hard. And the thing with The Bachelor is that like they'll root for you and tell you, yes, we love you. But the day that it's like no more, they ghost you. Which is so frustrating.
So you didn't get like an answer.
For 3 times. 3 times. And like it was always someone different too. They're like, hey, like, please apply to The Bachelor. And I'm like, okay, yes, I'll do it. And each time it's like complete ghost. I'm like, you know what?
That's so annoying, especially whenever you put your time and effort into like auditioning or, you know, just have even just like your typical message you could just forward to everybody. Yes. Like, hey, I'm sorry, we're not using you, or
a generic email or something. But I understand they have a ton of women. So I guess they just assume if you don't get a reply, like that's it, that's done. But like,
again, for somebody that like really wants
exactly,
and you kind of get your hopes up too with somebody personally reaching out to you.
Yes.
I was asked to similar situation. One of my friends was like a producer for the show back in the day, and I was asked to be, you know, audition, and I said no just because I give you props to go on a show like that because I get jealous. Like I wouldn't be able to share like one person. I just watch like The Bachelor and I'm like, I love watching the show, but I could never be on the show because I would just like probably be emotional the whole time, honestly.
I was emotional, but yeah. No, 1000%. And like even watching it from the outside, there's like 2 different perspectives. There's that perspective that you just said,
right?
Or it's like, I can do that. Like, fuck those bitches.
Right.
Like, I can do it.
Or I'm just going to do it for
I'm just going to do it for fun, for clout. And then when you actually get there, you're like, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The nerves are insane.
Oh my goodness.
Insane.
I'm sure. So whenever you moved back to LA, it wasn't, you always had wanted to come back.
Yes, always.
So how old were you when you were like, I really want to do a reality show?
I think I was 23.
Okay.
23 or 24.
Okay.
So it's been a long
So
time.
after college. Okay.
Yeah, after college.
What did you go to school for?
I went to school for fashion merchandising and business administration.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And at that time, I had like a longtime boyfriend. I thought he was the one I was going to marry.
Right.
Psych. Psych.
All for the better, though, because there's somebody around the corner for you.
Exactly.
That's perfect for you.
And that's why I like wanted to do it, because I don't know if you know, but one of the contestants, Raven from The Bachelor.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Long black hair, beautiful.
Yes.
She was talking about how she auditioned for the show. Like, she was with her very crappy ex-boyfriend at the time. And she just applied just for fun, and like the relationship ended up ending, and then she went on the show, and then she's like, boom, like found the love of her life, like has a baby, 2 babies now. Like, I was like, you know what?
I want to be the happy stories. The happy stories. I'm like, I follow them still to this day. Like Kat and what's her name? Maybe not Kat. Sean Lowe. The blonde.
Oh, the race car driver? No.
We're like terrible. Gosh, I'm like, I love
The
The Bachelor and I can't remember names. There's like so many people, but there's been a lot of successful relationships.
There's been a lot of successful relationships out of a lot of dating shows. I know it's like iffy with some, but it all depends on how serious the person is in the relationship.
Right. Obviously. And I guess like if you went in and it wasn't like that serious and the guys suck or whatever, then it's a learning experience.
Exactly.
And you get a little fan base as a bonus.
I know.
Which a lot of people come out, I feel like, with a side that loves you and then a side that hates you. And from the feedback you've gotten is that 99% of people really are on your side.
They're on my side 1000%. There's only a couple that are not, but I think it's mostly because I told about what I did. Basically, I kiss and told people. Which I completely understand, seeing it from their perspective. But obviously they're not seeing what's going on behind the scenes.
Right, of course. No,
and
you only see what.
Just to be clear.
Yes, be clear, please.
Just to be clear. One, that was not the first time that me and him were intimate, because it made it seem like I did that to get him. No, babies.
You're like, no, this has been going on.
This has been going on. Like, it was not the first time. And second of all, like, I told that girl, her name was Jackie. I told that girl because she had already confided in me that like she was no longer interested in Sebastian. She was literally cheering me on to go get my man. So that's why I confided in her. Now me and her are on good terms. Right. She has come to me, she's apologized, and I'm not one to hold a grudge. There's no reason to.
I understand like the pressure of being in that situation.
Yes.
You're on TV too. Like, I know sometimes you do and say things, you're on TV. I mean, I've never been in that situation, but I can imagine like the influence of like the pressure.
The producers too.
Yeah.
Because they can hear what we're saying.
So they're like, okay, for people that haven't seen the show, first of all, go and watch it, because otherwise a lot of this is going to be like gibberish to you. But go and watch, because I want to kind of start from like the beginning of like you getting casted and like what those emotions were, how you felt through that process. So
okay, and then we'll get to the tea.
And then we'll get to the tea, and then we'll spill the tea.
Yes. So I was excited.
Yeah.
I got casted. I got my bags packed. They picked me up in an Uber, because it all took down literally here. I passed by the JW Marriott getting here, and I'm like, PTSD.
Oh my gosh. You're like, wait, literally, it filmed at, it was like the level 8, right?
Level 8.
You can see that right outside my window. If you want to.
You see right there? That's where I was making out with him.
I know. You're like, that balcony right there.
That one right
where
there.
the trauma happened.
Yes.
But, okay, so they picked you up. You were in an Uber.
We get to the JW Marriott at the hotel, and I just want everybody to know that like we were all put up in our own rooms.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
It was really nice that we weren't allowed to mingle with the girls, nothing. Like, we each had our own individual room. I feel like they would have had more drama if they put us all together, but I see they were trying to go for a different vibe and not be like the rest of the other shows where all the girls are together.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting that, and I think because you're in a different room, the people that are going to be shady kind of are allowed to be shady, because nobody is going to ask questions until you're all put in that like situation.
And they weren't wrong, because they like keeping us secluded made us absolutely fucking psycho.
Oh, so were you like, you couldn't leave to go eat?
No, they brought downstairs? Our foods to our room.
What about like snacks? Like I love snacking. Like I would die.
So they also had like a snack cart. So we also had a number. So there was somebody on site at all times.
Okay. If so you we would something.
Call the number.
Oh my gosh.
And like be like, I need snacks. Now there was a pool and there was a gym. But again, we have to go one at a time. And at that time,
see each other.
Right. At that time, we did not know there was 18 women there.
Oh my gosh.
18.
You didn't know how many people?
I didn't know how many people were going to be there. And I heard from the other girls that some producers told them that it was only going to be 5 men, 5 girls. And I'm like thinking to myself, no, this is a reality dating show. There has to be more women. But 18 for 5 men?
That's too much. I remember I watched like the first half of the season. Mm-hmm. I plan on watching the rest, but life is life. But we'll watch the end.
Yes.
But I remember thinking there's a lot of different groups, because they had rounds different groups of women come in, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it's just like new after new girl, and even the guys I feel like didn't even know, like they did,
like for them I think it was a lot. I feel like they should have just kept it at 2 groups.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm not saying discard the 3rd group. I'm saying split the 3rd group in between the 2 groups.
Right. Yes.
And that way we have more time to get to know them, because that took up like 3 more extra days introducing the 3rd group, because you got to do the dates, you got to do like interviews, all that stuff.
There's so much that goes as like a producer, like somebody who plans stuff. I know, like even on set with like a movie, it's like, oh, you're going to sit here because we don't need you right now.
Exactly.
So I can imagine like, you know, the first episode was like only 5 of them went and they picked, you know, and then I was like, oh, well, I know you were on the show. So I was like, okay, so obviously they're going to bring in another round of girls at some girls, another round of girls at some point. So what did you do? Like, I guess in the hotel, I feel like I would just be like, my mind would be going. Did you have your cell phone?
No, we weren't allowed to have cell phones.
Oh my gosh,
nothing. Like absolutely nothing.
You had to just stare at the TV. Like
literally, I was staring out the window, and I was hoping someone would like wave or something, because there's like a little bench by the window,
like
and I'm
waiting
just like
for human interaction.
Like, hi. Like, and I was just thinking to myself, if only they knew what like I was up to right now. Like I'm filming right now and I'm dying in this hotel room wanting to like breathe some fresh air.
No phones, no laptops. How long were you in the hotel before you got to go and like do, because I knew you were at like the pool for the first scene where you come in and kind of.
So that was just filmed there.
Okay.
So that was so like we would be driven to the we call it the penthouse,
right?
And then we'd be driven back once the event was over.
Okay, so how many days were you there?
2 weeks.
You didn't film, so you were there for 2 weeks total.
2 weeks total in the hotel room.
Okay, and then how many days were you filming within that 2 weeks?
So within that 2 weeks, it's like 2 days off, 1 day filming, another day off, film, 3 days off, film.
Oh my gosh.
It was unbearable.
And I'm sure like as you know, you make this connection, you go on your date and then you don't see him again for 3 days.
3 days. And I'm just like, huh, must be
wondering
nice.
Like what else he's doing, who else he's seeing. Yeah. I could just see how that would like eat at you.
Exactly. Made us psycho.
Yeah. So how did you process that? Because I wouldn't be able to do it. I would like, I'm such an anxious person in general.
Same.
So I think the worst always.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'm like, oh, he's definitely like cheating on me. You know what I mean?
1000%.
Like all the time. It's like the worst possible case scenario.
Yes.
So walk me through how that was. Like you had a date with Sebastian.
Yes. And then I didn't see him for days.
What was that first period like where you like you didn't see him, you didn't have anybody to talk to? It'd be like,
I was dying. All I did was write. I had a journal with me.
Nice.
All I did was write. And I was like, our date went like this. But then that's when I started nitpicking at the date. And I was like, oh no,
yes.
Maybe I should have done this. Maybe if I did this, he would really like me a lot more. Like And then finally I told myself I got to stop. I got to like stop.
Yeah, because then you like remember scenarios and like, oh, I should have done it like this, or I wonder how he was feeling whenever I did this, or did I do this wrong? Or, you know, I'm definitely one of I relate to.
Or like, did I wear the right outfit? Like it just was a lot. Yeah. But our date was amazing though.
Yeah. It looked like there was sparks in the air.
Yeah.
What was your date for people that haven't seen the show? What was the date?
So we went to the Love Museum. Oh. I believe it was somewhere around here.
Really? Okay. George, if you're listening, we need to go to the Love Museum.
It's so cute.
Is it? Okay.
And it's very interactive too. So they only showed a short portion of it, but like we drew out our orgasms. We were talking about sex positions. Like, I think that's why our kisses were so intense, because we were talking. It was like a buildup. It was such a buildup. It was like a sexual buildup. Like, extremely.
Yeah, because the kiss was like spicy, I would definitely say, but like we didn't see the part before that. We didn't
see like what led up to it. I think in general, I've just always been a very passionate woman when it comes to like being intimate with a man.
Definitely.
But it definitely was a buildup, because there was a lot more to that date than what was shown.
Right.
Which is so sad. I really wanted everybody to see that.
Yeah, but I know. And you know, after like I'm dating an editor, like a literal like TV movie editor, and I know how much can get either twisted or cut
a lot.
Yeah. And it's crazy how editors can completely manipulate the storyline too.
Right.
Like your words, your story, how things were perceived. It's like, it's really weird. It's really crazy. But because we didn't see that part, we just saw this like intimate kiss. Obviously they were going to show that was like the big bang out of the whole thing.
Right.
So after the kiss, was that it? The end of the date?
That was basically the end of the date.
Okay.
It was the end of the date. And
how long was your date?
It was a long date.
Yeah.
Like I would say it was like 2 hours.
Okay.
Like we were there for a hot minute. So you got to
spend some like real time.
No, we spent some real time. Like we were talking about family as well, like our hobbies, what we like to do. Right. And I told him how much I love to read, and he was telling me he does too as well. And like he was really intuitive with himself. That's what I really liked about him. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of thrown for a loop with like him revealing who he actually was.
Right.
Not a soccer player. I'm saying like how he acted and how he carried himself was a little ick.
Right. Like after the fact. Because like the one-on-one felt so good.
I felt like I was talking to someone entirely different on our dates and whenever me and him had one-on-one. So it just was crazy.
You know, because I always like whenever I'm watching like The Bachelor, a reality TV show, I like am sitting there like, how do people, because we only see what they show us. So I'm like, there's no way they can really fall in love in this amount of time.
Yes.
But after hearing you talk, it's like you really did get that time to spend with each other.
Yeah.
To get on a deeper level than what we see on TV.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, and that's why the emotions that they show, I feel like people are like, oh my gosh, they only know them for this long. But like
5 minutes.
Yeah. Like, but you know, again, coming from like an editor's perspective that I have been exposed to literally every day is like, they cut out so much. The amount of footage that they cut out, because I'm sure they filmed that whole date.
Yeah, they did. The whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing filmed.
Yeah. And just to have everything cut out. So that's where my mind, I'm like, no, you know, it looks like they're crazy over this guy for this super short period of time, but you really do have those deep connections.
Yeah. And I thought we were like really like our morals were on the same level too.
Right. And that's the big thing.
That's the
it's the most important thing.
Exactly.
If you can see eye to eye on like your main, you know, bubbles, it's like, oh, okay, we're smooth sailing now.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Right. So then after that, you know, you had your time back in your hotel room.
Yeah.
You're, you know,
dying. Boredom.
Oh gosh, I would be so bored.
So bored. I just watched movies on repeat.
Yeah, the same movie. On repeat.
But I literally took such good care of myself while I had like my time alone, like no phone. I was like taking extra showers, scrubbing my body.
You're like getting everything, like, doing the full Sunday reset shower every day.
Everything. Oh
yeah.
I was like at my top
because you couldn't do anything else. So it's like you might as well. And then so you can show up and be like, hey, you know, hey, my skin looks perfect. Yes, I did a 5-hour skincare routine.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you went, what was after your date? So you all come in Yes. And how many girls are you living with?
I think it was 11.
Okay. Well, that's a lot.
It's still a lot, but I think one girl left, and I was so mad. This was one of my friends, Kai, that I made on the show, and they didn't give it they didn't give her an exit at all.
She just like disappeared.
She just disappeared, which was kind of frustrating and annoying. I don't know why they did that. And even she was shocked and upset about. Oh, that broke my heart. I was so pissed. Like, out of all people,
yeah,
you didn't give her an exit. I could have thought of like a few on my hand that you could have not given an exit.
The guys didn't talk to her, whoever she was like.
She was talking to certain people, and I forget who invited her back into the house.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, why not give her an exit?
Yeah.
Even if it was so short-lived, like.
Yeah.
What?
Because then the viewers are confused.
And I know some viewers picked it up too.
Yeah, because, you fall in love with your people. Like, you always watch these shows and you're like, oh, I really want that person to win or find love or whatever. But I do, you know what? Honestly, I'm rooting for her. I hope she gets picked up for like another show or something and gets another chance. But we end up moving into the penthouse. You can already feel the tension in the air. Even me, I was like, fuck, like, here we go. So you're meeting all these girls at once?
I'm meeting all these girls. Well, I met them beforehand. We had parties leading up to
that's
moving
good.
in.
Okay, that's right.
So we met them here and there. But like, I'm not going to lie. I was like on full blackout mode.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't remember faces, names. All I like could care about was Sebastian.
Right.
Like, that's
what your mind is like consumed with.
And one of the biggest things on the show was that he told me that he's into blonde women, and that like threw me for a loop.
I saw your reaction to that. You're like, oh, so you're into blonde girls. And this is so hard because I have been with men in the past who've said the exact same thing. And so it was a trigger point for you.
It really was, because after it doesn't work out with me, they go directly to a blonde.
Yeah.
And it literally hurt that's like exactly what happened. But it's like, it's even been said through TikTok. If a guy's preference is like so strong, like it's a blonde, like go the other way. It's never going to be you. He will always turn his head to what his preference is.
Yeah.
And it's so sad, but it's true. But the reason why I stayed, which again, they did not show, is that he pulled me aside afterwards because I was so upset. And he's like, Steph, you were not a second option. Our date was amazing. Like, it does not matter that you're not blonde. So I got so much reassurance.
So you got reassurance.
No one saw.
That's so annoying. That's so annoying they didn't show that, because then it totally changes the whole story.
The whole story.
I can like speak from my experiences. Like, I've been with guys that have been like, I want a curvier woman. I'm like, well, that's not, I prefer a girl with, big tits, I'm like, well, you better just go leave now, because that's not me, and it will never be me unless I decide to get them, which I'm not.
Right.
But at least not at this point in my life. I've considered, and George just told me no. He's like, no, don't.
No, don't.
I'm like, no, I don't need to.
I wish I had smaller titties.
Yes, I'm glad. I work out so much that I feel like it would, I just need it to not be there.
They're bothersome, and like, you can fit in a lot of very cute outfits. I'm telling you right now, it's so difficult for me to like fit in trendy clothes because my tits are just too big and doesn't fit.
Being a woman, this is a side note, but like being a woman is so hard because I feel like we're always comparing, like, or not even comparing. I am, but like just I am comparing, and I know a lot of people struggle with that, but we always want what we don't have. So I'm like, oh, I wish I had like a big chest.
Yes.
And then I have friends that are like, no, I want a boob reduction.
Yep.
Or like, oh, I have curly hair, and
straight hair,
straight hair, and it's always like the opposite, and it's people are always going to look at you and think you're beautiful. You just got to find the right people, that like find the beauty in you,
Yes.
We're not all going to have the same preference.
I completely agree with that though. I agree.
So, but I can see like that would be a triggering point, especially after spending time, and now you've grown feelings for this person, to then get hit with this,
like after the date, after we've talked, like,
and he never told you that before.
No, never told me that before. He's like, yeah, I like blonde girls. I'm like, okay. And like, I obviously, watching everything back, it's crazy how often he said, I'm into blonde. I want blonde. Is your blonde natural? Is it real? Like,
It's kind of like a fetish at that point. Like, it's an obsession.
Like, listen, I don't want to like bring him down or anything.
Definitely.
Because, I think, we're not on bad terms, but at the same time, we're not like, do you know what I mean? But someone did explain to me perfectly clear that at this point, it's not even a preference, it's a fetish. Yeah. Because you can't even give someone a chance unless they have those qualities that you want. And it's not even qualities that should even matter. Yeah.
And you know what? Not saying like Sebastian's a bad guy or anything, but you dodged a bullet for yourself. Yeah. Because, down the line, knowing this, even if he did choose you, but going back and watching the show and even hearing, I really like blondes, I feel like, at least for me, I would walk into a room and see the blondes and be like, oh, that's his type, even subconsciously. Yeah. So I think, it sucks. And like breakups, I feel like it was like a full-blown breakup.
It was a breakup. Yeah. Like you said, even watching everything back, I am grateful that it didn't work out. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that. Like, I'm happy it didn't work out. And I'm happy that he didn't string me along, because at the end of the day, I feel like if I got the chance to go to Mexico and Spain, I'd be sitting there crying just like Brittany.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Gosh, it's so many emotions. Poor girl. And girls are the most emotional humans. I know. Our hormones are too high for this. Like, why are you putting us through this?
Like, why? Why? Now, I do wish that, like, I wish that in general, like, the show had more time, but I know we were in a strict time limit because of the boys' soccer. Some of them were still playing. Like,
oh, wow. Okay.
They literally only have like a month break and then they're back. And even during this month, they're still training here and there. And that's why you saw them at the gym all the time, because they literally had to keep up. Because the second they go back, they're back to it. Gosh. So this was like a really fast process, but I wish we had more time to mingle with all the men. Yeah. And two, like, we also all had to remember that this is an opportunity to meet other people. A lot of people were full on pulling out like girl code, boy code. Right. You just met these people.
Right. Everybody's on the same playing field, whether you have a connection with somebody or not. Like, it's, I totally agree. Like, there should have been more time to like really get to know people, because then your decision might have been different.
Right. And I won't say any names, but I was literally told like, oh, you're Sebastian's girl. Like, we can't.
So then you kind of have that perception where it's like, I have to go with, this guy, or this is the guy I need to go after. And hearing those voices, it can totally manipulate how you feel and your emotions. You're in a high stress environment.
Right. And even the guys, like, they didn't want to go after certain people because like, oh, that's so-and-so's girl. Like, no one overstepped. People
were good.
People were like angels. And it's like, for what? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, I've heard it from a lot of the people from the cast. It's like, well, wish we had more time to talk to that person.
Right. Or you see like the true colors of people over time, and like the attractive traits of people over time. And I don't know about you, but like, I'm very much attracted to personalities. Yeah. Obviously you can be a gorgeous looking person, and I can acknowledge that. But I'm like so attracted. I feel like a lot of women are like this, more so than men in general. It's like, I'm attracted to like their heart and like where their intentions are. Their sense of humor, like things like that are what makes a man attractive to me. Not like, oh, you're a famous sexy and soccer player and you're hot, right. It's like so beyond that. Obviously that's a bonus, if you get somebody that's a famous soccer player who's in shape and all the things, the looks is like a bonus. But it's like, who's gonna like love me and take care of me and want to take care of me as like, a wife or your girlfriend or whatever. Who's gonna want me from me? Period.
And it's just, and then not only that, but like on the show, they also asked us like, would you rather be pursued or would you like to chase?
How interesting.
And I won't lie, going into it, like, I was hoping he would do more of like pulling me aside, but because we didn't know they were soccer players, I heard a lot of it from a lot of them that like we didn't pursue them enough. Oh. And it's like, dude,
women want to be pursued.
We want to be pursued. We don't know you're soccer players. No. Okay? Again, this is why we're doing this, to strip everything away from you.
Exactly. And like, if you guys all knew you know, they're these famous soccer players, everybody would be hardcore pursuing.
Exactly. And I think I know that was one of the reasons why me and Sebastian were dwindling in the end, because I was not chasing him as he wanted me to.
Because he's probably, I mean, they're probably used to being chased.
They're used to being chased. Yeah. But again,
don't they want the opposite?
Dude, like, I did not know you were a soccer player, and that shouldn't be the reason why I should be chasing you.
Yeah, exactly.
And like coming on to you. But it's, again, dodged a bullet.
You dodged a bullet for you, and not, you know, of course you wish him the best. And I truly believe like everybody deserves love.
Of course.
And, you know, to find somebody. But for you, it's not your perfect match. Are you watching that show, Perfect Match?
The new one with Harry Jowsey?
Yes. Yeah. Me and George are watching that. And now that is like a full just like clout TV show. Like,
now that's like a hot mess express.
Yes, hot mess. But yeah, definitely hot mess. But yeah, I really believe everybody like deserves to find their perfect match. And nobody's perfect. Even the people that were perceived to be like the bad guy, you know, I do understand that it's a very high stress environment for everybody, emotions running high. So you get sent home. Tell me a little bit about that. Obviously emotional, devastated. I mean, it breaks my heart like watching like the tears. I'm like so emotional. I'll like watch people cry and I'll start crying. So kind of like walk me through like what were you feeling, and like how did that, I just like,
I was devastated. Yeah. Honestly, like I was hurt. Yeah. And I thought it was going to be a good conversation, because he came over, pulled me aside. First of all, I had a Red Bull in front of me, okay? Yeah. With a cute little straw in it. Yeah. And he just picks it up and puts it in his mouth, starts drinking it, and puts it down. And then I go to get it, and he's like, "Can I come talk to you?" I was like, "Yeah, babe, let's go."
So it was like flirty. Like that's not something you do before
if you're about to break up with me, get your nasty ass lips off my drink.
Yes. What
the hell?
Who do you think you are? You know?
I think you are. No. So he pulls me over to the side, and then he does this breakup, and I just want everyone to know that he said, "I don't like what happened in the pool." He did not tell me, and was never said that like it was because Jackie told him that what happened in the pool, and like that he assumed that I told the whole house. Nothing. All I knew was that he didn't like what happened in the pool. So I'm like, great, damn, like I just did something that he did not like. Like
he put it all on you, when in reality it wasn't what happened in the pool. It was that somebody went and told him that you said something to somebody.
Yes.
But again, if
he did not say it. And I know there was like miscommunication with like Marco, because his English was a little broken. And even if he were to have miscommunicated it, I speak Spanish. Yeah. Why didn't you tell me in Spanish then if that was the case? Yeah. So I left hysterically crying. I think that's why I cried more, because I cried more at the fact that like what just happened? Yeah. Like, did I offend him like by doing what happened in the pool? Right. And I was like second guessing myself. Like, he didn't stop me. He enjoyed it. Like, but he liked it. And I'm just like, what? Like, again,
you were so confused.
I was so confused, and he put it all on me. Yeah. And I was just so messed up from it. So messed up. And then afterwards, obviously we do the interview, and they brought him in. I immediately got up. I was ready to peace out. I was like, why would I want to see him again? Like, why? Like,
no, he's already breaking
up with me because of something I supposedly did in the pool, and that's the reason why. So I'm like, why do I want to see him? Like, why would he want to see me? And then that's when he tells me that he is like some soccer player, and telling me that Marco's the famous one there. But to me, it came off as like so egotistical. I was so livid. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what your job is. I don't care if you worked at McDonald's, my dude. Do not care. Like, no, I don't care what your job is. I do not care. Yeah. And honestly, it took me like a week to tell my dad that I was back. I was just a hot mess. And I didn't find out until literally the episodes came out, and I saw what happened.
What actually happened. So then it's like okay, so from the time you got sent home to the time it aired, how long was that period?
About a year.
Oh my gosh.
A year.
So you're sitting with this false narrative in your mind.
So in my head,
breaking it down.
Yes.
For quite a long period of time.
literally, like, my anxiety was through the roof after the show only because of that certain situation. Like, imagine if someone told you, like, I don't like what happened. Like, I didn't like you touching me. Yeah. So throughout the whole year, you're like panicking
about how it's going to be edited.
About how it's going to be. Like, no one told me. No one freaking told me. And yes, Jackie came forward to me and, you know, apologized. Yeah. But it wasn't expressed exactly like what actually happened. Right. So I was a little bit shocked when I saw what actually did happen. So even leading up to the day that it was supposed to air, I was like, I don't know how they're going to air this. Like, what's going to happen? And I had no idea.
I would be thinking about that as an overthinker, and just I think through every situation of my life, like many times, how many times I would replay the conversation, the scenario in the pool, like over and over and over again.
Over and over. And I'm like, did he not like it at one point? But I'm like, this wasn't our first time.
Right. So obviously he
So I was like, there's no way he didn't like it. This wasn't our first time. So in my head, I'm like, why is he putting this on me? Yeah. And I will say that this is the only thing I hate him for. Like, why would you do that? Yeah. Why not just say you told people in the house about what we did?
You would rather be that.
I would have rather him do that.
Yeah. And also, like, with you telling people, I'm sure there was like, oh, you felt betrayed. I'm sure, like, with people going behind your back and telling people.
Yeah. But again, I didn't know.
But you didn't know.
I didn't know.
Which is crazy, too, because you're literally sitting in a house with these people to then...
I did not know.
Had no idea until the show comes out what actually happened.
Literally had no idea that the house knew. Had no idea. No idea. Not a clue.
Wow.
At all.
So, question. Do you think if, let's say, you didn't say anything to the girls, do you think he still would have went with
Brittany?
The bond?
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, even if I didn't fuck up, like... Which I honestly don't think I did.
No, you didn't.
I didn't.
I think he was looking for an excuse to send you home.
He was looking for an excuse to send me home, and this was the easiest one. Yeah. And, at the end of the day, it was never going to be me. I'm not blonde.
And don't you wish he could just have been honest about that? Like, hey, I really like you, and I love our connection, but I have a stronger connection with somebody else.
I wish he would have said that. Then tell me I don't like what happened in the pool.
Right, exactly.
Or like I wish he didn't even drag me along because it was blatantly clear.
Exactly. That's what I always tell, like, even people I've dated in the past, like, if you don't fuck with me, or you're confused or you want to see somebody else, please just let me live on my own. Like, please just tell me. I would rather be heartbroken in the moment, you know, than like be strung along, because at the end of the day, you're wasting my fucking time.
Wasting my time.
And you're serious about finding a husband.
I was so serious about finding a husband, regardless of how much money he had. Yes. Or what job he had. Right. Like, I was serious. Yeah. And I went there in the tent of finding somebody. Yeah. And again, he was blatant about who he wanted, someone blonde, right? And I wish he just didn't drag me along, because it was clear it was never going to be me, no matter how much of a connection we had.
Yeah, gosh, so hard. And I've been, obviously I haven't been on a reality TV show, but like just getting dragged along by guys in different situations. Like, you know, I've been like cheated on, and it's like, I would rather you break up with me. Please let me go before you, if you want to go.
Don't make me look stupid.
If you want to go fuck somebody, cool. Please just leave me first. Yes. Just do the respectful thing. Don't try to be sneaky, because we will always find out. Always find out. So please just, if you want to go be scummy and do your thing, just don't let me be a part of that. Right. You know? Exactly. Because it's harder when you're betrayed on top of what happens.
Exactly. And even after, I think it was the first party that we had with the first group. So the first group finally met the second group, my group. Like, me and Sebastian got really intimate in the pool. Right. Again, we were just making out, but obviously they didn't show the rest of the part in the pool scene. But I will clear it here for everybody. Yes, we were, in the pool again.
You were spicy in the pool.
We were spicy in the pool. There. And then the night after, he invites the other blonde to do the exact same thing in the pool. And I'm just like,
You're like, what's happening?
And again, it goes back to what we were saying before. I wish he just didn't drag me along, didn't make me look stupid, and I wish he would have given me the opportunity to speak to the other men.
Well, all I gotta say about this situation though is that nobody looks you don't look stupid.
Yeah.
Everybody is like seeing it for what it is now.
Yes.
You know, and you came out, in my opinion, everybody loves you. There's no backlash on you at all. Like, people are really on your side.
They are.
Which I think is, I know it's like, yes, it's like worth the traumatic experiences.
It was worth it.
Because I think what you're going to be able to build from that is going to be so much bigger than like that show.
Yeah.
Because that, you know, I think a positive thing from the experience is you're going to be able to influence other people in a positive way.
Right.
Because you genuinely want to find love.
I do.
And your husband. And, you know, I know you want to have a lot of babies. Cause
I want to have babies.
I know. Me too. I was like, I want like 5.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, George is like, no, not 5, like 2. I was like 3 minimum.
Literally, if you like follow me on TikTok, all I repost is like baby videos.
Right? Oh my gosh, the amount of videos I sit at night and I'm like, watch this video, and it's like of a little baby.
Yes.
Like
giggling, sneezing. I'm like, oh, so cute.
Like,
oh,
so
look
cute.
at farted.
I'm like, I can't wait. I know. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till we have our little. And then I'll be like laying down. I'm like, George, one day we're gonna have like a little mini us just like laying in between us, like literally. And he's like, yes. I'm like, oh yes, we are. We're gonna have a mini us.
Yes.
So cute.
Oh my God, stop.
But so you mentioned, you know, from the time you ended the show to the time it aired, you dealt with like a lot of anxiety with that. How did you, I guess, get over kind of
process it?
How did you process your anxiety? Because I know everybody's different. I struggle really terribly with anxiety, so bad that I'll have panic attacks, like literally out of nowhere. It's like, for what, you know?
Exactly. A huge thing that helped for me is going hiking.
Good.
But I also went to therapy.
Okay.
Like, God bless for therapy.
I just had a guest on, Maisie, yesterday, and she said therapy has changed her life. Like, she has super bad anxiety, depression, and everything like that. If you haven't, guys, watch that episode, go ahead and go back, and it'll be the one before this one. But therapy is amazing.
Game changer. Huge game changer, because you have someone there validating your feelings.
Right.
And listening to what you have to say.
Yeah.
It truly helped tremendously. Now, I will say it did not stop the anxiety, because I felt like I was in constant fight or flight mode.
Oh, gosh.
Like, constantly. And my dad, unfortunately, 2 weeks after the show ended, was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, I'm so
it
sorry.
didn't make it any better at all.
No.
And I finally got on medication.
Oh, good.
And it sucks because, like, I have had a lot of people come up to me and be like, why are you on medication? You don't need it. And it's so frustrating. Like, why not ask me why I'm on it?
Right.
Like,
No.
what are you struggling with that you need? Like, ask me why. Ask me, like, how I was waking up every morning with my thoughts just running.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sleep. Like,
and that's something I think that gets really frustrating, because I've also been told I need to get on medication. I have considered, like, many times in my life, and I go through that. I go like this. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I definitely should like go to the doctor tomorrow.
Yeah.
And get on medication. And then other times I'm like, okay, I think I'm handling it. But medication is a good thing.
yes.
It's a great thing.
Yes.
And it's people that get anxiety and depression literally have like a chemical imbalance in their brain.
Yes.
And that's what people don't understand. It's not just you freaking out for no reason and whatever. It's like, actually, some people are more prone to things like anxiety and depression just by how their brain chemistry is made up, and also like hereditary. Like,
Exactly.
there's a lot of mental health problems in my family, and it just trickles down. And here I am with crazy anxiety. But little did I know, my grandpa and my cousin and everybody has had terrible depression, and and it's always people that don't understand anxiety, I feel like, that say those things. And again, that's why I like want to make a podcast about just like mental health in general, is because everybody struggles with their thing that they struggle with. But it's like this,
It really is.
you know, some people struggle hardcore, you know, and it's definitely more of a battle, but other people struggle with other things that are
Exactly.
a battle.
Yep.
So you're on medication.
I'm on medication now. Like before, like without the medication, I would not be here and be able to speak.
Yeah.
Like it got so bad to the point where like I wasn't speaking, period.
Right.
I was going out to events, like not talking.
Just
like,
being so anxious.
Just anxious, like thinking about like, if I say this, it's going to sound stupid. Like I physically, listen, my anxiety always was like this as well.
Right.
Like sometimes it would be really bad. Sometimes it'd be like, you know what, I can talk, I can hang out. But it got to the point where like it was consecutive months where like I was mute. I was like, all right, I need help.
Yeah.
I got to the point where like in my heart, I'm like, I need help.
Yeah.
And I got medication and it has been a game changer. I can speak. I can sit here and talk to you. I'm not worried about like, oh no, don't say that. It sounds stupid.
Right.
Thoughts are gone.
Yeah.
Locked away. Like I'm just free.
You're just able to be yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's
free.
You know, and like medication is, people have said like, oh, it blocks off your how your personality is, and it totally doesn't. It's just
it brought out my personality.
It brought out your personality, and that's see, guys, come on. People that don't believe in medication, if you should never feel ashamed to get on medication, because it can help you live your best life.
It can.
Like truly. I've had family and friends go from like the lowest of lows to using medication to becoming, you know, a lot more stable mentally, and they're able to be productive and do things and feel good about themselves. So
I was literally like always told, why are you so quiet? Why aren't you speaking? And that was even one of the things that Sebastian said too, that like no one wants a quiet person. And now he wasn't saying it to me, but I know it was directed to me. I'm like, dude, my anxiety is through here. I've been locked away for 2 weeks.
Right.
It's son of
like,
a bitch.
I haven't talked to people
While
in 2 weeks.
you have your phone and getting prime dinners and hanging out with the boys, I'm locked away in a little room. But no, truthfully, like to anybody listening out there, I understand like the misconception of pills, because I know a lot of people assume that like, oh, the doctors are just trying to give you pills just to give it to you. They're trying to make money. Now I understand that with certain diseases, maybe that definitely is real. You know, that they're just giving you just to give you stuff. But when it comes to anxiety, like,
and it's worked. That's the thing.
It works.
Yeah. And you notice the difference.
It is a difference. Or I was able to like pack on the blankets and sleep. Like I was always cold. Right. Always.
That's me.
I don't know if it probably is the anxiety. I don't know what it is, but like I'm always freezing cold. But now, hell no.
You're like
it has to be a light blanket or else I'm sweating. But there's a lot of positive.
Right.
So every day, like going home from work, like I would sing in the car, but I felt like, you know, my whole life, I'm like, I know I can sing. Like, I know I can sing. But my throat was tight all day long, every day, as if I'm going to cry. Oh. I didn't feel like I was going to cry.
This is before medication.
This is before medication. Constant tightness.
Okay,
right
I'm
here.
like that all the time. Like, I feel like I could break out in emotional tears, like with a certain song or something. I would try to sing and I would.
And I can't sing it.
Yeah.
So tight.
Yeah.
But when I tell you, I got on this medication, which by the way, that's where I was getting to. The first 2 weeks of starting a new medication, and all your doctors will tell you, is that there's going to be side effects.
Yeah.
I was so sleepy.
Oh gosh.
Sleepy because the medication's trying to like relax you.
Right.
And I noticed that one of the side effects was that you'll yawn a lot. I noticed that when I start getting anxiety, I'm starting to yawn like crazy. And every time I'd come home from work, out.
Wow.
Out. But after the 2 weeks, after your body has processed it and adjusted, and I just want everybody to know that like the first 2 weeks are going to be a little bit rough because your body's trying to get adjusted, but give it a chance.
Yeah.
Because immediately I called up my doctor and I was like, I don't know if this is it. Like, I can't stay awake. Like, I'm thinking it's not fully kicked in. So my anxiety is like, what if I fall asleep at the wheel, this and that? And they're like, just give it 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And of course, the 2 weeks happen. I'm like, oh my God.
You're like, this is amazing.
This is amazing. And back to the singing part. After the medication, my throat was never tight.
Really?
And like, I was like, bitch, I can sing.
Right? You're like, I feel like those are even the things that you're like, I didn't even know this was a problem.
Yes.
That it helped.
Yes.
I feel like there's definitely something in me that's like, I should get on medication to see what's not normal.
Exactly. Well, even after being on medication, like I've found like through TikTok, there's a different, like you don't have to go on medication. I believe it's like magnesium something that apparently helps with anxiety.
Yes.
So before, if anybody wants to try that.
Magnesium, like glycinate?
Yes.
Yeah. I've been told that too. I want to try that. I also saw it's another pill, but it's a natural something that you take every morning, and it's supposed to also help with like, it's like a mood booster.
Ooh.
I forget what it's called. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
But it's like a mood booster, and I've heard like amazing things. It's not like a medication, but it's like,
yes, like a vitamin,
like almost like a vitamin, but it has a little bit more kick to it.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish I could remember what it was freaking called. I can't right now. But another thing, you know, that helps just in general, if you don't want to get on medication, try your supplements. Like, there's this supplement company called Care Of, and not sponsored. If they want to sponsor, though, I will take it. But it's really interesting. What you do is you go and you take this big test about like what you struggle with and all these different things like that you want to improve in your life, and they'll send you specific vitamins and supplements that are fit for your specific quiz that you take. Because I know, like, I go to the store, I'm like, oh, I could take calcium and I could take vitamin C and I need magnesium, but I don't actually know exactly what my body really needs.
Right.
So you take this test, and then they send you like a little, it's like a 30-day pack.
Ooh.
But it's like packed with like, it's like one little pouch with like all the vitamins like you need to take specifically for you, which I just think is so cool. I was like,
what is it called again?
Care Of. Yeah, I'll have to send it to you.
Send it to me.
Yeah, because I'm like, and it was like an in-depth test. Like I took the test and I was like, oh, I definitely need to do this, because I've seen the reviews and people saying like it's nice because you can target exactly what
works
right
for you.
Or, you know, like what supplements actually help with this.
I need that because I want to take vitamins, but I'm like, what
do I get? I know, same. And I look on TikTok, I'm like, what vitamins should I take as a 27-year-old woman?
And they're all random.
They're literally so random. I'm
so
like,
random. Yeah. And it's like, do I just take the gummies that's at the store?
I'm like, I just want to eat it like fruit snacks. Yeah. Literally. But yeah. Oh my goodness. So the show is out now. You're thriving. Is there any updates, any new updates with, you know, I guess, how has your response been to growing? I know you've been growing this following, and you have people reaching out to you and messaging you and being supportive. Like, how has that process been for you? Especially after this last year being so anxiety ridden,
right? That,
you know, for the show to come out and you get such positive feedback, how has that impacted your life?
It's been absolutely amazing. Yeah. I'm forever grateful. You know, I've gotten a huge following of Latina women. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
And they've been so supportive and so kind. Like, they're happy I'm representing the Mexican community. Yeah. Which I talk about this all the time, even on my Instagram. Like, I'm first generation.
Yeah.
My parents have broken English.
Wow.
Like, this is an opportunity that like no one would have ever expected that I do, like ever. And I'm forever grateful. And like, I'm answering to messages, and they're like, oh my God, you answered me. Thank you. And I'm like, of course I'm going to answer. Like, like what?
Yeah.
Of course.
I know a lot of people don't. So
they don't.
I think that's, as you continue to do that, you're going to notice like your community is going to be so big.
Yeah.
And building a community is huge. And I know, like, with you being such like a passionate person and like wanting that, like I can just already see it. You're gonna have a beautiful group of diehard Estefani fans. You're gonna influence. I watched your brow tutorial and I'm jealous. I don't have these thick, beautiful brows. I was like, whenever you popped up on like the feed with like, I'm gonna do my eyebrows, I was like, I feel like they're already done. They're not done. I was like, what does she mean she has to do her eyebrows? I'm like, I wish mine looked like that. Mine are like,
listen, my hairs are thick, so they go down. But so I have to brush them up.
Good. I was like, they're already done. What is this girl talking about? But I did watch it, and I need to take some tips from your brow routine.
Thank you.
Yeah, so been a positive impact. I've seen your messages. People are super supportive.
Extremely.
I think it's amazing. Like, I think you're really diving into, you know, your culture, and I want to push you enough in that direction, because I think you can be such a light for, you know, your culture and your upbringing and people that, you know, relate and connect with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna end it like this. I want you to give just if anybody that's struggling with anxiety or going through a time in their life where they feel insecure, you know, in themselves, what would you say to them? Like a little bit of inspiration,
like a pep talk.
Yeah.
Something that helps me is that I try to picture myself, like, let's say a month down the road or even like a year down the road, like whatever's happening right now, like it's not going to matter in a month or two. That's something that always helps me if I'm like, you know, starting to get anxiety or like freaked out about a situation. Like it will not matter. Like do the best you can with whatever you got and keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
You know, like no matter what's happening, whether it's like work related, family issues, because I'm the queen of family issues. Just keep pushing forward is all I have to say. Just don't look back.
I love that. Now I want to do something different with you because you speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So for your Latina, Mexican people, can you give a same like snippet of advice but in Spanish?
Y para todos mis Latinos, I know that in our culture, mental health isn't taken that seriously. And I just want you to know that it is. Unfortunately, our, you know, parents are stuck a little bit in the past, but know that there's resources for you. There's therapy, there's help. Like even if you need help yourself, reach out to me. I'll talk to you.
Aww. I'm so happy that you came on. Is there anything in the works now? Like, what are you up to now? What is the vision for the next? Like now, you know, you are growing this following, and you want to really dive into the social media space and the influencer space.
Yes.
Do you have any things that you're in the works?
So I am working on a couple of things. I'm planning on having a live with someone from Love Island to talk about our Love Undercover and Love Island experiences.
Wow.
And I am working on a lot of little projects that I want to dive in with like my Mexican culture that I'm hoping all my little Latinos will love.
Yes.
And I do have some other things that I'm hoping and planning for in the future that I get casted for. So we'll see.
Yay. Oh my goodness, guys. Well, this is Estefani Mendez. Make sure to follow her. Give your Instagram one more time.
It's stef.p.mendez.
Is it the same on TikTok too?
It's the same on TikTok too, yeah.
Okay, cool. I love whenever it's the same. We've had some people that are like, it's completely different.
No.
So all the same. We'll have all of her links below in the description. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for
coming
having me.
I know you're going to inspire so many people, and I'm really happy that you could come and share your story. And guys, if you haven't watched Love Undercover, it's on Peacock.
It's on Peacock.
Go and watch the drama. Bye, guys. I'll see you next time.